from Pycoders Academy. With me, Faisal from Pycoders Academy. So in our previous video, we looked at the frame widget where we said it's just representing a container of the different kinds of widgets in the Tkinter GUI. So today we'll be looking at three widgets. The first one will be the check button widget, second being the radio button widget, and the last being the message box widget. Okay, so the check button and the radio button is actually like the same format, just that the radio button is used for selecting just one item from a list, and the radio button is actually for selecting one item from a list, whilst the check button is used for selecting many items on a given list. Then the message box is actually for, let's say, displaying warnings, displaying information and so on to the user. Okay, so these three are what we'll be doing today, so you just sit tight and watch this video. The radio button widget, as I said, is used for selecting just one item from a list of items. Okay, so first, as we do always, we just import all our models from the Tkinter widget. Okay, so do from Tkinter import star. Okay, now we just name our app to be app, then we say tk, then parentheses. Okay, so now we close our app, so main loop. Okay, so simple. So as I do always, I just create a variable and store my widget inside. So today I will just do it radio button, so underscore button. Okay, so now we just do equal to, so as I always say, every widget starts with a capital letter. So you start the radio button with a capital R, then the subsequent ones will be small letters. Okay, so radio button. Then I'll also show you some options you need for the radio button. So I'll just do radio button here. So radio button. Okay, so this one. Okay, now our app name is called the app, so our master should be the app. Okay, now the radio button is actually, let's say, used for selecting just one item from a list. So what we need here is some options that we need for the radio button. So I'll just comment out some options that we can use here. Okay, so it's much like the check button with it. So we just, so the constant one we know of is text. Okay, so I'll just add text here, so text. Then we will also look at value, then the variable. Okay, so variable. Okay, so, and lastly command. Okay, so we have these four options we can actually apply in the radio button widget. Okay, so first let's look at how to apply them. So comma text being equal to, let's say, hello. Okay, then the value, let's say the value it should, let's say, give out when we use the get, it should get a value of, let's say, 1. Then say command. Okay, we won't use the command yet. Let me actually look at how this is looking. Then we just let me see, packet here. Okay, let me use the pack here so that it will be simple. So radio underscore button dot pack. Okay, so now I'll change the geometry of the app itself. So I'll do it a 400 by 400 pixels. Okay, so let's specify it here, app dot geometry. Okay, 400 by 400. Okay, let me bring my quotes here, another quotes here. Okay, so now we are good to go. Let's run this app and see what we are getting. So okay, let me run this. Okay, so you can see I'm having my hello with my radio button around it. Okay, so when I click this, or when, let's say, when it's in the list and I select it, I'm getting just one item. Okay, so I want to add another one here, so I'll just add another radio button here. So let me copy this for it to be easy. So now I'll copy it and place it here. Now I'll rename my old radio button so that it won't conflict with the new one I'm creating. So _0, then _1 here. So _1. Okay, now I'll change this to _0, then _1 also here. Okay, so now instead of value 1, I'll place value 2 here. Okay, now the hello should change to, let's say, no, or let's say welcome. So welcome. Okay, so remember the text will be near the radio button. Okay, so the text will be near. So it's actually a default styling. So it's done by the Tkinter GUI. So no need to create a label and, let's say, place it near the radio button. So you just use the text option to actually achieve this. So simple. Now let's run this code and see. Okay, so running again. Okay, so let's see what we are getting here. Okay, so as you can see, I'm getting hello and welcome here. Okay, so I could change this to hello. So you can see I'm changing between these types of items. So when I use the radio button, I'm only privileged to just one of the items inside the list. Okay, so I can create more lists, then I use the radio button to select just one. So this is very important when you want to select just one item from a list. Okay, so I would like to make it more complex. I have only three options I have specified, which is the text, the value. Okay, so it's left with two more, which is the variable and the command. Okay, so the variable, as we did in the button, or no, as we did in entry, so we just specified a variable to actually collect our, let's say, value. So I'll create a variable here. Okay, now the variable we are storing should contain a variable. So a variable, like, let's say, let me store a variable here. So var being equal to, then which value is our variable, or which data type should our variable be. So I will say it should be an int, because the value here is 1 and 2. So int var. Okay, int var, then you bring your pointer. So as we did, we have the string var, the int var, and for floats we don't use float var, we use double var. Okay, so int var, then you pass the var here. So var. Okay, then you specify another one for the second radio button also. So var1 _1. Okay, then we say same applies, which is the int var also. So int var. Okay, so now I will also change the initial one. I will do it var _0 to make it different or unique. So I will just do _0 here, then _1 there. Okay, so _1. Okay, so I need to change the variable name here, then add the same variable name there. Okay, so variable underscore, okay, sorry, var _1. Okay, so simple. Now we have this. So now we can get the value inside our variable here. So let me create a function here, so then we can able to use the command to do that. So command, so I'll just do collect variable. So that will be my function name. So collect variable. Okay, so don't mind the name, it's actually a rough name, so you can just use another name. So I wish to use this one. Okay, so now I'll just collect the variable. So I will just do var 0 var _0 dot get. Okay, so var _0 dot get, then I'll bring my parentheses. Now I'll store it in a variable. So like, let's say value. Okay, now I'm getting a value here. Okay, so now we just print out. So we won't do something complex here. We just print out what we have in the value variable. So value. Now I will just pass the command here so that we will know how to use the command. So command being equal to collect then underscore variable. Okay, so I'll just remove the parentheses here. So that's the norm, so you just have to conform to that norm. Okay, so after adding the command widget, or after adding the command option, we just have to run this code and see what we are doing here. So run. Okay, so run. Okay, so let me see what you are getting here. So when I click the hello, okay, so you can see I'm getting 1 here. So it means when I've used all the commands here. So the command option is actually used for specifying some functions. So what your radio button should do when I just select one item. So you can see when I selected the hello, I got its value, which is 1. So I can create another command for the second one also. So I can do so diff, then I'll say collect underscore variable, then I'll say variable underscore 1, then I'll say parenthesis. Okay, so here should be collect underscore. Okay, now then I will just do value being equal to var. Don't worry yourself because the value here won't affect the other value. So if you don't understand, you just watch my functions video. So my video on functions, it's actually different scopes. So you have the global scope and you have the local scope. So the value variable we are creating here is a local scope. Okay, so don't get confused. So you just do var. So here should be var1. So var underscore 1 dot get, then we have this, then we print our value, which is the value. Okay, now we just add it to our radio button, the second radio button. Okay, so let's look at where it is. So here is it. I'll just do command. Okay, down command, then you do collect. Okay, so we have it here. You just do enter. Now let's run this code and see. Okay, so so for default it's actually 0 because okay, let me actually remove this parenthesis because we haven't selected anything here. So we run. Okay, so since there was a parenthesis, we got a 0 here. So it's actually because of the parenthesis we put there, so you should avoid that also. So you just click on hello, we are getting 1 there. So as you can see, I'm getting 1 here. Okay, I'll try with let's say the welcome also. So hello. Okay, so hello, I'm getting 1 there. I'll do welcome. Okay, I'm getting 2. So yeah, so that's what we mean by the radio button. So you can see here I'm getting 2 let's say 2 let me say 2 ticks. So both of them are thick. So the reason why is that like we are actually let's say passing different variables to it and 2 different commands, so it's actually looking at it as a separate radio button. So when you, let's say, put the same variable name, you are actually getting different radio buttons. Okay, so I hope you got what we did here. So there are some more options you can look at on the python.org. That's the official page for the Python. There's a Tkinter GUI page, or I'll share it in the description, so you look at it. Okay, so we are done with the radio button, then we quickly move to the okay, so without wasting my time, we will actually close on the radio button, then we look at the check button. So I'll actually clear what we have here. So okay, let me leave it like that because it's the same let's say the same syntax as the check button. So what will change here will be this radio button here. So check button, so check button. Okay, now we change the second one to so check button. Then we'll try and change the variable name so that we can actually know that this is the check button, this is the radio button, and so on. Okay, so we have this. Then you can also change this to check button. Okay, so the same options. Then here should be check button, check. Okay, now here also check button, check button, check button. Then I will also apply a check button in the second one also. So check button. Then lastly to the last which is the pack one, so check button. Okay, so we are good to go. Now what I will do here is that I will just run this code and see. So run. Okay, so radio button. Okay, so what am I getting here, which is value? Why? Because the check button is actually not unique. So you are let's say selecting more or multiple items, so it's actually not unique. So you should actually avoid the value here. So value is actually not allowed in check button. So let's clear it out, then we can move forward. So let's run this code and see. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so you can see I'm getting a hello here. When I click the hello, actually I'm getting 1. I click the welcome, I'm also getting 1. Okay, so when I turn off the welcome, I got 0. When I turn off the hello, I got 0 also. Also, as you can see, I'm getting 2 zeros here. So what this is actually saying is that since the computer understands the machine language, which is zeros and ones, when you take it, it actually takes it as on. So the on means 1. So we can actually let's say specify our on and off here. So when you actually click on the hello, you are getting 1. When you turn it off, you are getting 0. So same applies to the welcome. So let's specify, let's say, the on and off properties of this check button. Okay, so I'll just do on set. So this is also an option. So on set, then I'll also do offset. Okay, so offset. Okay, then what else? Okay, now let's do it on set. So when it's on, what should we do? Put it on. Then when it's off, what should we do? We put it off. Okay, so I'll just add it here, off. So I'll actually restrict myself with the second one, so I won't go to the second one. I'll actually apply it on the first one so that we will know the distinction here. So let's run this code and see. Okay, so no onset here. Okay, so as you can see, unknown option on set. Okay, so let's look at what we are doing wrong here. Okay, so on set, so this should actually be on value, and see on value, then here should also be on value. Okay, so off value here. So let's run this code and see. Okay, so no errors, so I think it's okay now. So it said expected floating point number but got on. Okay, so here you can't just specify anything in the on value, so you just specify a floating point, so number. So here what you have to specify here is number, so we can apply 2 and we can apply 3 here. Okay, so let's run this code and see. Okay, so let's go. Then let me click the hello. Okay, so you can see when the checkbox is, let's say, checked or ticked, we got 2 because we specify number 2 for the on value. Then when it is off, you should get 3. So perfect. So that's what we are getting here. So we can try the second one, which we haven't applied any on value and off value options there. So we should get 1 and 0. Okay, so you are getting 1 here. Let me go to the take off. Okay, I'm getting 0 here. So it's pretty much simple here, like it's just like the radio button, but a simple change in the options here and there. So you can actually, let's say, create some a list of items. Then when you want to select just one item, you use the radio button. When you want to select more than one item, you use the check button widget. Okay, so as I always say, you just look for more options out, and so there are some events you have to actually use. So we have used the command here, we have used the get function to get the values of let's say the widget. Okay, so lastly, as I said, we should go on the message box. So we are done with the check button, the radio button. We move on to the message box. Okay, so that's our last widget for today, and we will look at more in our next video. Okay, so for our last widget for today, we'll be looking at the message box widget. Okay, so actually in Python 2.7, you see TK message box instead of the message box. So how to use it? You just first import it. So from Tkinter, okay, so from Tkinter, then what should we do? Import the message box. Okay, so I'll just import it quickly here, then we will use it in our code. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so from Tkinter, import message box. Okay, so we have imported it successfully. Now instead of getting this, okay, I'll just let me see. Okay, I'll just do this. I'll actually create a variable here. Now let's say value. Now I'll just do message box. Okay, so you treat it as a widget, so message box. Okay, then what are we passing? So the message box is actually, let's say, containing some methods. Okay, so when I do dot here, you have show error, show info, and show warning. So as I already said, I said the message box is for, let's say, creating let's say, or showing infos. So I want to show infos, I just use the message box. Then the same applies to errors or warning, then ask okay, cancel here. So first I'll just look at the show error here, show error. Now I'll just look at what I have to do. So we have title, which is none, we have message, which is none also. Now what you have to do is pass it here. So I'll just pass hello here. So simple. Now I'll just treat this as, let's say, a widget. So value dot, then I'll say, okay, I'll just do value here. Okay, now let's run this code and see. Okay, so when I click hello, okay, so you can see I'm getting something here. So here the title is hello. So since the title is the first parameter or the first option, that's what will be stored in. So we will just do it properly here. Okay, I'll just do, okay, we will just do properly here. So I'll just do, let's say, title being equal to hello. Okay, so that's what our title of the warning will be. Then I will just do message being equal to, so what message? I will say check button, check underscore button underscore 0. Let's say selected, so selected. Okay, so simple. Now we just go ahead and run this code and see. So here you just don't pack it, you just store it in a variable, then voila, you are on your way to go. Okay, so let me see what we are getting. So as we see, you are getting this here. So let me actually click it and see. So hello, then you see we have So since we said show error, you are getting this icon here, so check button 0 selected. So let's try and do, let's say, show warning or something. So show warning, so show warning, show warning, or show warning here. So let's run this again. So you will see the icon changing from that cross to, let's say, what you see here. So you can see it changed the triangle with a question mark inside. So that's the warning. You can also try show info. So show info. Okay, so show info. Now let's run this code and see. Okay, so let's run, hit it, and we are getting info here. Then we can try the next one, which is message. Okay, so message. So let me see. Okay, message. Now we can also run this code and see what you are getting. So let me click this. Okay, nothing shows. Okay, so nothing. So okay, so you can just figure out on your own. We will just look at the ask. Let me see, ask or cancel. Okay, cancel. So let's do this and see. Ask. Okay, cancel. Okay, so you can see this actually gives you an option to either cancel, or let's say, okay, so this is a very important feature when you want to, let's say, quit your app. When you want the user to quit the app, you just ask him if he or she is very sure of what he wants to do. So just do the ask okay or cancel. So when I do okay, then okay, it will do something. Then you see. So you can also do ask, or so ask yes, no, ask question, ask retry, cancel. There are a lot of options here, so you can see what fits you. So the one which you want to actually use, then you use it. Okay, so you can see it's a question here. So simple. Okay, so that's that for today's video. So we looked at the check button widget, the radio button widget, and we ended with the message box widget. Okay, so thank you for watching. I think in our next video we'll look at something complex, but I won't reveal it now. So we'll look at something complex, so you just relax and watch out for that video. Okay, so thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with others. Okay, so see you.